Live. Hey, beautiful people, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Awakening Summit. It's been so fun so far, so many incredible interviews. My name is Tamala Ridge. I'm an addiction specialist and a spiritual companioning mentor. And today I am so excited because I get to interview one of my besties. I'm so excited.
Me too.
So I have the absolute privilege today of hanging out with Emma Turton, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a beautiful chat. We're going to get to know her. And I'm going to read out her incredible bio because it's pretty cool. Emma Turton is a leading international medical intuitive and founder and director of Medical Intuition School, a rare combination of both healing science nerd and intuitive badass. That's what I like about her the most, the badass bit. She sinks her teeth into the place where medicine and metaphysics meet. Emma uses her powerful intuitive eye to see inside people and guides them to heal from within using medical intuition as a compass for life and health. A two-time international #1 best-selling author and award-winning university lecturer with over 20 years experience with clinical experience as a physiotherapist and nutrition coach under her belt. Emma also teaches a world-class medical intuition practitioner training course that is set to change the global paradigm for health and spirituality. Wow! Oh my God, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thanks, Tamala. It's so nice to be here.
So, Emma, my love, please tell us, how does one become a medical intuitive? Tell us a little bit about you and your story and how you got to be in this incredible position today.
So a medical intuitive is somebody who sees inside other people using an intuitive connection to get to the deeper meanings and the root causes behind what's showing up within their physical body. And we can use medical intuition ourselves to heal ourselves from within. But I didn't start out by knowing this information. I didn't start out by having a really, healthy, radiant body. I started out as you said, I'm a physiotherapist and nutrition coach by background, physiotherapist first, or physical therapist as it's known in the States. And I, as a qualified health professional, I went through my 20s getting increasingly unwell until I woke up on my 29th birthday and felt so horrible. I was in so much pain. I had so much chronic disease within my body. I was obese. I had chronic cough. I had chronic digestive troubles. I had mental health issues. I had all kinds of things going on within me. And I woke up on my 29th birthday, just rolled over and cried. I didn't want to get up. I felt 89. I didn't feel 29. I knew that when I got up, I would have crippling arthritis. I wouldn't be able to walk properly for quite some time while I hobbled around and let my body warm up. And, I had 2 young kids at that point. I have 3 now, but I had 2 then. And I was really struggling at that point. So I realized on that day when I could take no more and I didn't want to take another painful step, that I needed to get to the bottom of what was going on. Because at that point, I'd had a whole pile of various doctors and specialists. I had a whole grocery list of diagnoses. So they gave me plenty of diagnoses. They knew what was going on. They were lifelong diagnoses. I was told I'd have them for life. I had a fistful of medication to take every day that I was told I'd have to take every day for the rest of my life. And I thought, this can't be it. I can't be feeling this broken at this point in my life, and only 29. I'm 43 now, and I look and feel younger now than I did at 29. It's at that point I made that decision, and I went on a journey to discover what was going on in my own body, because I realized nobody else had the answers. The doctors didn't have the answers. I was getting sicker. I wasn't getting better. And so, I started with nutrition. So I really dived into that, and I became a qualified nutrition coach as well through that process. But as I cleaned up my diet, I started to realize, I started to unpack and because what happens is, as you know, when we clean up our diet, when we make changes within our physical world, when we choose differently within our life, other things change. Our intuition starts to accelerate. Our ability to connect in with ourselves and know who we are starts to evolve and change. And so I went through that process, and I'd always been very intuitive, but I'd really kept it locked away in a closet through my clinical years as a physiotherapist, because it wasn't acceptable in that world, or so I thought. So I went on a deep dive into learning about my intuition and really studying that aspect of what we all have access to, and realized that in that process, or I'd healed by that point, had healed every one of the chronic lifelong conditions that I had were no longer lifelong. They were gone. I didn't have to take the medication anymore throughout that process, because I realized as I went through that medical intuition was the key. That was the missing key to the health journey that I'd been on. And in that process, I also realized that because I had started my own business as a physiotherapist at that point, and nutritionist, and I realized I was accessing information about my clients I had no way of knowing. So I started to dive deeper into that, and I studied intuition in great detail. And it was a really interesting point at which I realized that we could access that information on behalf of others. It wasn't just for ourselves, that we had a window into the deeper meanings and what's really going on behind somebody else's health crisis, that we do have the ability to do that for somebody else, to look into their physiology, to look into their metaphysical body, and to work out what's going on within them. And that's, at that point, I didn't know what a medical intuitive was. So I realized that's what I was doing. Somebody said, "Hey, have you heard of a medical intuitive? That's what you're doing." Oh my God, that's a thing. This is a thing. And realized, it is actually a thing. And so I've been doing that ever since. So that's all I do now, have done for years. But it was such an interesting journey. And it wasn't something that I didn't wake up being a medical intuitive. I did have quite a few experiences growing up, and through with various people seeing illnesses, not really knowing how or why. I had no way to explain that. But it is something we can learn. It's something we all have access to. I don't see it as a gift. I see it as something that we each can learn to do for ourselves. And if we are called to do so, because I do feel it is a calling, then we can also learn to do this for others. We can learn to access this information on behalf of others so that we can support them to heal as well.
Oh my God, I love that. And that's my little question I was writing down there, going, yes, a lot of people think, oh, well, that's something that people are born with, yeah? If they're a medical intuitive, they're born with that, or if they're psychic, they're born with that. And the exciting thing is, and I know it's the work that you do, is that we can all actually learn how to do this for ourselves. And so I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that, and also the idea of the metaphysical body as opposed to this 3D solid clinical body, and how that ties in.
Absolutely. And people think it's an exclusive club, that psychics and clairvoyants and intuitives are in this exclusive club. It's for the select few. You have to be from a particular lineage, and you have to have done X number of years of training, or be born that way and be that child that was able to do those things. And it's just not true. We're all born intuitive. We're all intuitive beings. You are an intuitive being. Everybody watching this is an intuitive being. And we all have the ability to connect into our own intuitive guidance on our own behalf, and also on behalf of others, because we are all deeply connected. And so, it's something we can teach. I teach it. I teach it within Medical Intuition School. I teach people how to connect into themselves, to heal themselves from within. But I also run a world-class medical intuition practitioner training program. So teaching people to not only know the framework of medical intuition and how it fits with the science as well as the spirituality, the whole body picture with anatomy, physiology, the metaphysical anatomy, nutrition, all of the different aspects of the human body, but also how to see inside other people and how to guide them to heal from within from that point. And that is a skill. It's a skill like any other skill, like playing the guitar. You pick up a guitar the first time, you're not going to be very good good at it, or you won't really know what you're doing. But, you practice, you grow the muscles, you get to learn the motor pathways, the muscle memory, and you learn about music. And it's the same with our intuition. We can learn to read other people just simply by practicing. And so they practice with me in our live practice classes, and they practice on each other, they practice on other people until they have honed that skill. And it is something that they can use then for their career. And so the metaphysical body, you asked about the metaphysical body, and I think it's one of those big words that sometimes we aren't too sure of what they mean. And you may have heard about the chakra system, and that's one of the labels that we give the metaphysical body. So a chakra is just an energy center within the physical body. And we have chakras outside of our physical body as well, but they're not the ones most people focus on. And so our metaphysical body is the least 3D part of us. It's the least physical part of us. So we think that we're only this big, but we're not. We're not this big. We're much, 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 much bigger. In fact, we can actually expand infinitely outwards in all directions, which is really freaking amazing. We're as big as the universe if we choose to be, or we can contract down to the size of our human body. That's our metaphysical field. And that metaphysical field isn't just made up of wishy-washy energy. That metaphysical field is where all of our beliefs, our emotions, our feelings, our traumas, our perceptions, all of our choices, that's where they all sit. And our fears, they all sit around us in a field. And each one of those can anchor into our physiology at various points, depending on what they are related to, because each of the energy centers has different meanings and different themes and contexts to them. And so they can anchor into that physiology and create disease there. Or they can create wellness, depending on the beliefs or the fears or the thoughts and the emotions that are sitting within that metaphysical body. And so it holds weight. Our beliefs, our choices hold weight within our physical body, and they can create illness within us as well. They can create injury within us. There are no accidents. We may have an accident where we fall down the stairs, for instance. I've done that myself many times, but I don't see that as an accident. What has happened, particularly, one of the times I fell down the stairs, I broke my toe. And I got to the bottom of the stairs, I laid on the tiles and just breathed because it was really early in the morning and I didn't want to wake everybody up by swearing really loudly. And so I lay there and I realized and I breathed and I was so grateful. I was so grateful I didn't hit my head. I was so grateful I hadn't, hit my elbows or done anything else, broken a kneecap. I knew that my toe was broken. It was turning black. It was a funny shape. But I laid there going, this is interesting. So my toe is broken. This is really interesting. It was at my elbow. So it's no accident that my toe was broken. There's a reason why that part of the body is communicating with me right now. And when we get...
I'm just getting goosebumps as you're saying this, like that real... Just for someone to actually fall over, break their toe, first of all, go into gratitude, like straight away, didn't like freak out, just went, oh, I'm so grateful. It wasn't.
It wasn't straight away. There was a moment as well right before going into
pretty soon after. And then actually the question, because that's probably really important because, I love questions, is to go, oh, and the curiosity that comes in to go, oh, I wonder why, and I wonder, and how come, and oh my gosh, and connecting in that way, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And the thing is, I'd broken that same toe 4 times before. I didn't get the message.
Yeah.
I didn't get the message. So by the time I was on the ground this time, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to actually stop and listen now. And, even working in this field, sometimes it takes being hit over the head with something and multiple times before we get the message. And that's really what happened. And, I didn't have anywhere near as much pain that time. It healed much more quickly. I was able to wear a shoe much quicker than I had been any of the other times, not because it was less bad a break. It was actually worse than a couple of the times before. But because I got the message, I made the changes. I actually, integrated and took action based on the information that my body was bringing through to me, the intuition that my body was communicating with me, because our body is a channel for divine guidance. In spiritual circles, it's often disregarded and pushed aside as being, no, we don't want to be 3D. We must be always 5D. And I don't agree. We're here in this body, in this world, in this lifetime for a reason. And it's a very powerful one. We're allowed and we are supposed to be here and experiencing our 3D feelings, our 3D emotions, our 3D physical stuff. It's what we're here for. And if we just try and dampen it down with painkillers, we're never deficient in painkillers. That's never our body's deficiency. We're also never deficient in anti-inflammatories. That's never our body's issue. And yet we take them thinking, oh, I've got inflammation, I must take anti-inflammatories. I have pain, I must take painkillers. I have nothing against medication. By all means, take them if your body is needing that extra support. But also do the work, because otherwise they don't go away. They keep coming back to bite you, sometimes literally in the butt afterwards. They come back time and time again. The inflammation won't go away by taking anti-inflammatories. It might be dampened down for a while, but it will rise up and meet you even more ferociously, because it's still trying to get your attention to change something within your life. And so it's an invitation from the body whenever we have these symptoms. And these symptoms are, that's the language of the human body. That's how it communicates with us. And that those symptoms are a part of our intuition, our intuitive guidance. And so when we can honor them, if we can, it's really hard in the moment, particularly with the intense symptoms, and with pain, with nausea. Nausea is a big one. It's very hard to be quite happy and grateful for nausea when it happens. Generally, it comes after. Our body can be intense with its communication sometimes, but it stops us in our tracks. And that's often the key. That's often what we needed. We needed to be stopped in our tracks so that we can go, oh, hold up, I need to make a different choice here, because those choices hold weight within our physiology.
Oh my God, Em, I love that. I think we've just come full circle back to choices and thoughts, haven't we? And they were the couple of things that I wrote down. And you mentioned before that thoughts can create illness in our body. And you've also mentioned then that the symptoms in our body are an invitation. And you've also mentioned the work, that we have to do the work. So how does the thoughts creating illness in our body relate to the work? What's the work? What do we need to do in order to be able to hear our bodies and to stop and to address all of these things that you've mentioned?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So, there's lots of different ways that we can approach it. There are a lot of different ways that we can dive in and start to unpack, the reasons why things are showing up for us. But often when we're really drowning in symptoms, which I was when I was very unwell, I was drowning in symptoms at that point. What we need to do is try and decrease some of that background noise so we can tap into our own intuition and start to hear the messages, and then start to clearly be guided towards what to change, what to shift in our life. So the way that we do that, so the background noise in our body, that white noise that's in our body, that is inflammation. And it is the cause of so much illness within our human race. There's so many, there's research around how inflammation is the cause of most heart disease. There's research around inflammation as being the cause of many, many illnesses that we have. But I believe and have seen within my clients that it's far more endemic than that. It's far more widespread than just in certain conditions. And when we have that inflammatory background noise going on, even at a low hum within our body, it's harder to hear and tap into our intuition clearly. So inflammation, can often be masked by our self-talk, our addictions, which I know is your specialty, and it can be masked also by our fears, our ego mind, the thoughts that come up. And when I say self-talk, it's the way we speak to ourselves inside our head when nobody's listening. And, our choices around how we feel about ourselves and how we then choose from that place of subconscious feeling about ourselves. So all of those things actually sit simmering in that inflammatory soup that's within the body. And, you know, things that can create inflammation in our body are what we eat, what we drink, whether or not we get enough sleep, whether or not we exercise, whether our, you know, if our hormones aren't right, if there's imbalance within the body in a variety of other ways, or we might be putting things on our skin that are creating inflammation in our body. Everybody is unique. I need to stress that as well, because often there's this blanket approach to these sorts of things, and I don't see that, because when I see inside people, they don't all look the same. They are all unique. Each one of us is divinely unique, and so we need to work out for our own selves what our ideal way of eating is, what our ideal way of living is, what our ideal way of nourishing and honoring ourselves is as well. Because when we do that, we start to clear up that background noise. So one of the easiest ways to start to do that is to go into, I have what I call the reset protocol, which is a process that I take clients through who this works for, or who this, you know, this may be really suitable for. It's not suitable for everybody, but most people will find it very beneficial. And that's really taking out all of the main inflammatory food groups from our diet for 3 weeks to allow that inflammation to calm down. So 21 days it usually takes in adults, about 7 days in kids, and it works beautifully in kids as well. And then bring in one group at a time and see how the body actually reacts. In that time, in that 3 weeks, you keep a journal, you keep a record of how your body is reacting, and you are able to then start to listen into your body's messages, because you'll start to know what your baseline is. You'll know when your pain starts to flare up, something's going on. When, you know, if you've got headaches, the headaches come back, you know something's going on. Your body's speaking to you about something being out of alignment with you. And so it gives you that your own personal framework then for working out what does work for your body, what is deeply healing for your particular body, or what might be acting like a poison within your system. And there may be really specific things that are acting like a poison in your system that you eat every day that may be otherwise really healthy, but for your body, they may be totally wrong for you. And that can be creating that hum of inflammation in the background. And it's the easiest way to amplify your intuition. And you know, as you know, with your detox protocol, which I absolutely love as well, and I find it very challenging. It's why I like to do it. But it's something that can dramatically amplify our intuition. And when we have that, you know, the background noise is gone, so we can start to hear it more. The next step is to turn the volume up. And the way we turn the volume up on our intuition is to meditate. We need to get quiet. We need to get still. We need to be working with our metaphysical body and getting to know our metaphysical body. And for everybody watching this summit presentation as well, my freebie that you will be getting sent out to you as a part of just simply registering today is my metaphysical body activation meditation. So this will help you get to know your own metaphysical body. And it's a beautiful, powerful daily practice to bring in every single day. It takes time. It took me probably 3 or 4 months before I started to sense each of my energy centers, of daily devoted multiple times a day practicing a chakra meditation at that time. And, you know, it doesn't have to take that long. Some people will be quicker. Maybe it just took a while to get, you know, me to know what I was doing. But it takes us time to get to know our energy centers, because they're always there. They're always active. We just, you know, it's assumed knowledge. We just aren't aware of them. That's all. And it's only once we get to know them really well, we get to know when there's a change. And then we can start to sense those changes as they happen in real time. And we start to see where we might need to do some work. So we can actually bypass a lot of illness. We can bypass a lot of injuries, because we don't need to get the messages, because we're taking action before it happens. And so it keeps us on that even keel. It can keep us, because, you know, life keeps happening. Stuff keeps coming up. Our body keeps changing, and things keep happening within our physiology. So it gives us that opportunity to unpack it as we go, to nourish our metaphysical body, to nourish our physical body as we go. You know, meditation is so important. And you may have heard meditation. Anybody listening, if you've tried meditation, gone, I've tried that, that didn't work for me. It's not something that just works. Meditation is something you have to do every day, whether it's working for you or not, because it's working when you don't think it is. Meditation is a doing word. It's not a reading word or a thinking word. I did the meditation, therefore, or I'm thinking about meditation. I've learned all about meditation, but it's not really work. Learning about it doesn't help. You have to do it, and you have to do it daily, and it is a cumulative practice. So the benefits of it accumulate very subtly without you noticing. So keep doing it. If you have been meditating or you've meditated in the past, go back to it, keep doing it. Hold the faith that it is doing its work even when you think it isn't, because it is. It absolutely is. And that quiet, that peace, that presence, that mindfulness, that is where our intuition resides. It doesn't reside in the noise. It doesn't reside in the thinking brain. And so it's about finding that space within your body, finding the space between your thoughts, between your symptoms, and then hearing the guidance there.
Oh my God, I love that. And you and I probably have a common theme around that, finding the space between our thoughts, between the messages, between the to-do lists. And, we are called human beings. We're not called human doings, but we find ourselves doing all the time, and we're distracted, and we're doing all the things, and we're not actually spending much time being because people think it's boring, or they feel really uncomfortable to just be and sit. But as you say, that's where the magic is. That's where the medicine lies. And so, tell us about the difference between reading for ourselves and then the next step of reading for someone else, because I know, we've got about 4 minutes left, so I would love to talk just about what you have to offer and what it is you do, because I know your medical intuition school is like nothing else on the planet. There is nothing else as comprehensive as what you have developed, with all of your clinical knowledge, all of the actual clinical understanding, the anatomy, the physiology, going deeply into the 3D body, which you say you highly regard, and of course we should, because we've got one, but also into the metaphysical and into the intuition and turning down the white noise. And so people can actually come and train with you to do all of that in such a comprehensive way. There's nothing else like it on the planet, believe me. And what is it that they would get from working with you, and what would be the entry point?
Yeah, so I have quite a few programs. I've got my two core programs. One is Medical Intuition 1, Activate Your Inner Healer, and that is a 12-week immersion with me where we dive deep into the practice and principles of medical intuition as it applies to you in your own life, to support you to learn how to heal from within. But it's not just about physical healing, because of course when we start to tap into living intuitively, when we start to tap into our medical intuition, it can guide all of our choices. It can guide every aspect of our life. So we can start bringing in more money. We can start living in a relationship that's suddenly really juicy and really enjoyable. We can have, find our ideal job. We can start living the life of our dreams, because we're being intuitively guided, and we're not pushing the body to the side in order to do so, and also have radiant, abundant health at the same time. And that's one of our that's one of the programs that I run. I also run the Medical Intuition 2, which is the Medical Intuition Practitioner training. And so that's an 8-month, very comprehensive program, professional training qualification, that is a global program. So these programs are all online. And it's unique from what I've gathered from everybody who's come to the program, and lots of people that I've spoken to who've done other programs as well. There's nothing like it in the world, because you train with me. I am there, I create and facilitate all the practice classes. I'm there to guide, I'm there to teach, I'm there to help you learn the actual mechanical skills of reading other people. As well as all of the anatomy, physiology, the metaphysical anatomy, the nutrition, all of the practical transformation tools that I use. I share all of those as well. And of course, we go into medical ethics. We go into how to maintain a spiritual business. We go into healing and all of the mysticism involved in being a medical intuitive, because it takes a deeply devoted self-practice to be able to maintain the channel to do the work for other people. So it takes dedication and commitment to to this calling, to be able to be a medical intuitive for others. And so those are my two core programs. And I also have a brand new offering, which is exciting. So if you want to get in and work with me, there's a 5-day deep dive that's going to be starting on the 30th of November, so just in the first week of December. We're going to be diving deep into metaphysical medicine, and it's all about how your thoughts and beliefs create your physical health. So we get to know all of your and really focusing in on you, so you can help you unpack your own energy centers, so you get familiar with your energy centers, that you start to know what might be tying in between your metaphysical body, how it's linking in with your physiology, and what might be creating physical issues within your body, unpacking perhaps recurrent issues you may have had in the past as well, and really, learning how to deeply nourish that part of us, that metaphysical body, so that our physical body can start to be more radiant. You can be more intuitive. You can really amplify your intuition through the process. And so that you can start to heal aspects of your body from within as well.
Oh my God, Em, every time I listen to you talk, I just go, why aren't we teaching this in schools? Why aren't we able to help and support our children and ourselves to become our own doctors? Like, every time we do go to the doctor, we do, to a certain degree, hand our power away. Yes, we definitely need the medical industry. They're so great at acute illness and sewing us up when we've had accidents and all that sort of thing. But imagine if we taught this to our children. First of all, we have to learn it ourselves, and then be able to teach our kids to read their own bodies, to read their own symptoms, to decide to want to come in and look at the root cause and have a look what's going on there, rather than just treating the symptoms. The whole entire planet would freaking shift. It would be amazing. It was just incredible. So people can come and work with you, and basically, and first and foremost, for themselves. Yeah, that's what we want to come and do. We want to learn how to read ourselves and to become our own medical intuitive. And then people can also go on to learn how to be a medical intuitive and read for others. They can create a business, or they can up-level their healing modality to an exponential quantum field. Incredible opportunity. And believe me, I have known Emma for, how long have we known each other now? 5, 6, 6,
Yeah, quite a few years.
Okay, it feels like forever. I feel like we've known each other forever. There is no one else like Emma on the planet. She's completely incredible. Her integrity, her heart, her knowledge, her wisdom, her gentleness, her humility. Oh my gosh, if you haven't reached out to Emma yet, please go and stalk her, like her business page, grab her beautiful meditation and freebie, and seriously think about doing that 5-day course with her, because that entry level will blow your mind. And I know what Emma offers. She overgives all the time. She gives so much. Amazing. Totally.
I am a bit of an overgiver. I'm trying to work on that, but don't worry, I'll definitely overgive for this one too. I'll work on it after metaphysical medicine.
Yeah, it's an addiction. You can't see me out for that one. Yeah,
I'll go work with you to have get rid of my addiction to overgiving. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, my beautiful. That was just mind-blowing. There was so much information in that. Thank you so much for your time, Em, and I really hope everyone reaches out to you and, get some of your magic. Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the summer, everyone.
Yay! Bye.
Bye.